In Japan, broken pottery is mended with gold, not to hide the cracks, but to honor them. It's called Kintsugi, and in fact, one of Sri Lanka's most celebrated artists, Anuma Vijayawardena, titled her collection at the Venice Biennale in 2019, Kintsugi, a collection now on permanent display at Cinnamon Life. Few know that ancient samurai once practiced it to reflect resilience in battle, because sometimes it is the breaks that make us whole. Welcome to Kaleidoscope, where we are positive, daring, and different. Ahead of the show, we go beyond borders, beneath the surface, and into a blooming world of discovery. Kaleidoscope is on digital channels, 4 of them in fact, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Do subscribe, follow, and like us. To our wonderful partners on the show, SriLanka Live, CDB, and The Daily Morning, thank you.
She wins with CDB Wings, exclusive financial solutions for women.
This is CDB Snapshot, our look back at the week that was. Sri Lanka has a 101% year-on-year surge in realized FDI inflows for the first half of 2025. Government revenue collection peaks at 486 billion rupees in May. That's nearly 2 trillion rupees for 2025. Sri Lanka is set to consider oil purchasers from the United States to reduce the trade gap. 4 Colombo Port City projects, which are over $1 billion granted strategic status. The bearded vulture makes a comeback in the Alps, with 460 of them flying free now. Remember the banana on the wall? Well, a fresh banana taped to a wall by artist Maurizio Catalan was just eaten again by a museum goer.
You focus on your goals. We will take care of the risks. SriLanka Life.
Welcome to SriLanka Life News Capsule. France is one of Sri Lanka's key trading partners, with bilateral trade exceeding 540 million euro and French investment at $485 million. From sustainable energy to luxury exports, the partnership is expanding, with French tourists expected to hit 100,000 next year. Seeing Sri Lanka as central to South Asian strategy, French Ambassador Remy Lambert discusses exports, tourism and trade, and the growing synergy between Sri Lanka and France on Kaleidoscope News Capsule. France is one of the EU's largest economies. What are the key areas that you see potential for Sri Lanka to expand into the French market beyond tea, beyond apparel?
First of all, you mentioned tea, so I must mention tea because we are supporting the tea industry in Sri Lanka through geographic indication. We have developed a geographic indication in France with the wine industry, and you know France has a very important country in the wine, globally known for it. And we are doing the same. We are supporting Sri Lanka to brand Ceylon tea with French expertise. Apart from that, Sri Lanka is a very important country rich with natural resources, and we are supporting the rubber industry with tire manufacturing, and there's a lot also of natural projects. The gem industry, Sri Lanka is very rich in gems.
Are there any plans for France to maybe increase connectivity, increase the whole relationship that tourism has between our two countries?
France has now become the 5th largest emitter of tourists to Sri Lanka, with almost soon 100,000 French tourists visiting your beautiful, gorgeous country. What can we do? We can provide a French expertise with our guide experience, in discussion with our both respective experience in tourism. We also can provide French language courses because with an increasing number of French-speaking visitors, it's important to have guides that can express themselves also in French, and we have a network of Alliance Française in Sri Lanka, and they provide French classes. And we also have a programs with the European partners on some tracks for tourists. So there's a broad range of issues we can deepen.
If we're looking at FDIs, at investment from French business people, what areas, what industries do you think will hold interest for them in Sri Lanka?
Infrastructure is important, and we have companies that can be interested in the energy infrastructures. Transportation also, we mentioned tourism. If Sri Lanka wants to become a tourism hub, it needs also to have a strong airport and air capacity. So, and we have Airbus Group, which had been already working with Sri Lankan Airlines in the past, and Airbus products are very efficient, very worldwide efficient. We can also work, I've mentioned also agriculture. There's a lot of things that we can do to upgrade for new products. And there's also vocational training. And we have a lot to do on fashion, on IT training. So we have a lot of companies that are interested in Sri Lanka. They want to develop and to make investment to Sri Lanka. Let's work together.
And so here's what's happened with our markets this week.
At the Colombo Stock Exchange, records continued to break with the OCI price index moving above 19,200 points for the first time in history. Oil steadied as all eyes were on tariff talks between the US and its key trade partners. Brent crude traded below $69 per barrel, while West Texas Intermediate was above $65. President Donald Trump unveiled an agreement with the Philippines setting a 19% tariff and a deal with Japan that sets a 15% rate, fueling a rally in Asian shares and US stock futures. Gold prices moved up and hit an all-time high while stabilizing at slightly above $3,400 per ounce, even as US bond yields dropped and uncertainty over US tariffs after the August 1st deadline lingered.
Causing some ripples, literally, is a floating solar farm just 150 kilometers away from Shanghai, a gigantic engineering experiment potentially capable of providing 50% of the world's energy needs. According to Interpol, more than 60% of child sexual abuse material now originates on platforms used daily by children. Closer to home, cybercrimes against children in South Asia have seen a threefold increase since the pandemic. In Sri Lanka, while smartphone penetration among youth is rising, digital safety education remains scarce, and only a fraction of reported cases result in legal action. Founder of the Child Protection Force, Milani Salpiti-Korala, is on the show today to delve deep into how, why, and when children face online abuse. How bad is the problem of online child abuse in Sri Lanka?
We are a very small organization, so we have seen a recent surge in the cases that come directly to us. So where people reach out saying, this is happening to me, can you do something about it? So we have seen a recent surge, and there's been a little bit of news articles here and there, but there is a surge in the world.
How do children get exploited online?
This would ideally start when a child has unlimited access to a device that is not protected. I'm not saying tech is bad, because it is essential for the world now and even for children. So, but we need to be aware of the safe ways on how to use it. So children will be groomed by online predators. So we have targeting certain children. So countries like ours in crisis, in other countries where there is war and, children are at a very vulnerable space. So we are in crisis because of the financial crisis. People need money. So we have people who are willing to sell pictures of their own children in exchange of money. So when children have unlimited access and there are it's organized crime, they know where to target, who to reach out to. So a lot of kids who play online games where you play with other people and then you have conversations, so like in chat or whatever. So that is how it can happen through games and through online platforms. But if parents are aware, then we can easily, I suppose, control it.
In your experience, what are the long-term psychological effects this can have on children?
When online crime happens, I suppose your privacy is out there in the world. A lot of young people would, resort to things, and when they don't have the proper support, right? So there are quite a few children who will reach out to someone who is an adult, or there is a supportive guardian, mother, father, someone. It's easier, but when that support is not there, there's a lot of psychological trauma. A lot of children who will go into their own shell and, and if the support doesn't come, it can result in drastic situations like self-harm.
How can children be empowered enough to recognize when it's a scam and report it without fear or shame or stigma for that?
I have had so many kids when I talk to them said, "Auntie, I was playing this game and this guy asked me, where in Sri Lanka do you live?" And some kids have actually laughed it out and said, I told him I live in Timbuktu or whatever. But that is a real big red flag of somebody online who you just met who is going to ask you where you are and how old you are and your details. So red flags like that is definitely something that children should be aware of. And of course, young love, sending pictures. Now that is also sometimes where it starts, where sometimes the pictures are sent and then when the breakup happens, there is a lot of revenge and sharing.
Are the laws adequate?
Not. Cybercrime, definitely not. And even if we have good laws, sometimes the implementation is really bad. There are huge delays. So when a case takes 15 years, the evidence is lost along the way. The witnesses don't want to come along the way. And in 15 years, there's an acquittal. So he stayed out all 15 years and then at 15 years, he's gone out free of what he has done. So he or she. So that is massive. So the implementation is a big problem, and it's not a recent problem. It's a problem we had since long years ago.
In the heart of the city of Brussels is the Jardin Botanique, or the Royal Botanical Gardens, which was created in 1826. Come, let's go on a walkabout.
Wedged between the urban pulse of Brussels lies a breadth of living history, Le Jardin Botanique, born in 1829 and still blooming today. From the stately lines of French formality to the graceful charm of Italian symmetry to the whimsical curves of the English garden path, this 6-hectare sanctuary unfolds across 3 terraces with over 40 iris varieties swaying proudly. 30 sculptures whisper stories of animals, plants and seasons, each one imagined by landscape architect René Pecher. Follow the paths that dip and dance to the ponds below, where rest finds you under leafy canopies. Rare, exotic, everyday, each plant plays a part in this living museum. So if ever you're in Brussels, take a walk into a space where time, art and nature grow side by side. Smell the roses, they say? Do just that. We will see you next week.